I want to focus on something a little bit softer, something a little quieter. I want to focus on humility and respect, because I'm here to start off by asking us all to remember that this land upon which we stand and sit right now, in the land of the Gill Tract, and the land of this university, for 10,000 years was the land of Ohlone people, the land of my people. And the Ohlone people stewarded this land, maintained it, lived with it, lived on it, lived from it for 10,000 years. And the colonizers arrived. I will say that I call them the first illegal immigrants, but the colonizers arrived and they brought their system of laws and property laws, and through a systematic taking of everything on this continent that didn't belong to them, they made it theirs. So we live in this country under a system of those laws, and those laws are part of what this struggle is about. The land belongs to the people of California, the land belongs to the state of California, and yet we as people have very little say in what happens on the land. Part of the struggle is to gain back the right to jointly share in decision making for this land. And we can't do that if it's a senior housing complex or somebody else's supermarket.
That's right.
There's something else about the university. Not far from here, as far as we know, Ohlone elders tell me that an Ohlone village was situated on Strawberry Creek near the Campanile. It's likely that there are shell mounds and burial sites on this ground that we don't know where they are. We do know that the university scientists, anthropologists, whomever, took many artifacts and bones of my people and have them cataloged and stored somewhere. We're not even sure exactly where, but they're here. Ohlone people would like to have our ancestors back. We would like to reclaim our ancestors and give them proper burial and show them the respect that they deserve. So there's lots of issues at the interface between this institution and the people of this land. I'd also like to point out, and perhaps Eric will say something more about this later, but this new science, quote unquote, of agroecology is based on observations of what indigenous people in this continent, North America and South America, have been doing for more than 10,000 years. This is indigenous knowledge. But under the system of colonization, colonizers could take our property, they could take our bones, and they could take our knowledge and turn it into their own. I'd like to just simply say respectfully and humbly, we'd like to share in this process and reclaim what was originally ours and now belongs to us still.
Yeah.
Finally, I was asked to tell a story. It's a true story. It got me involved with the Occupy movement at the Gill Tract and with the Gill Tract Farm Coalition, with the Albany Farm Coalition, and the Gill Tract, all the folks who have been involved with the Gill Tract for decades. It's such an honor to be part of that experience. But there was a second occupation, some of you may know, that took place in the spring of 2013, I believe. It lasted a day, and I was there. I wasn't at the first one, but I was at the second one, and I watched a group of really lovely young people, much like most or many of you, turning the soil, putting their hands in the soil, planting new plants in the soil, watering them, doing some ceremony, honoring the ancestors. And I thought that was beautiful. And across the street, there were 3 representatives of the security force of UC Police Department. And occasionally they would speak in their bullhorn and tell us we were all trespassing and we should leave. No one paid any attention. But as I left, I went and I spoke with them. I wanted to invite them to come and be on the land with this beautiful moment with these young people. One officer said, well, we're just here doing our job. One officer didn't say anything, but the third officer, who I'll never forget, and when I see him, I remember him. I might actually be seeing him today. He said, beautiful. What do you mean, beautiful? They're trespassing on someone else's property. They're breaking the law. That's not beautiful. And I was kind of shocked. And I said, okay, well, I just wanted to say have a nice day, and I left. Get in my car, and I started driving back home. And I started to think. Some F-bombs crossed my mind, but I won't repeat them here. I started to think, trespassing, this is my people's land. You are trespassing. So I would like to ask the UC Police Department to remember that next time they come on the land, should there be an occasion for them to be there, accusing others of trespassing. Who the real trespassers are. And as I started out to say, I want to say these words with humility and respect, because we're not asking to regain title to the land. We're only asking to share the land with input on how we use the land and the joint process that we call stewardship. It's an ancient principle about the commons, where people don't claim for themselves something which was never theirs and never can be theirs. It's all of ours in common.
Yeah.
So let me just finish by saying, on behalf of my ancestors, we welcome you here. And we welcome the thoughtful consideration of Chancellor Dirks to the petitions of the SEAL students. I've known a number of brave people in my life, and I have to tell you that a large number of them I've met since I started working with my friends and my colleagues and kind of my new family with Occupy the Farm and the Gill Tract Farm Coalition and the SEAL students. Talk about learning.